That is good stuff. All right, I'm going to hit start here.
All right, go ahead.
All right, y'all. What's going on? James SP, the content creator. We are here on the first episode of the James Paul Show for this particular season. And my first guest is my brother, Bruce. Bruce, tell him how we first met. Do you remember, man?
I do remember. It was Taste of Carrollton, actually.
Yes.
I had been here about 2 months.
Yeah.
If that long. I don't think I was here that long.
You were new.
I was brand new.
Yeah.
I was brand new. And as the editor of the local newspaper here.
Yeah.
And I was out just trying to meet folks. You were a judge, and I was like trying to snake free food, which worked. It all worked out real good.
Yeah.
And that's where we met. Taste of Carrollton, right there in the middle of the downtown square. Right.
That's right.
Literally
man.
in the middle of the street.
Yeah. Because I think I'd asked you, I was like, hey, man, so what do you do? And then you told me.
I editor of the paper.
Yeah.
Brand new. I had been, maybe, I don't know that I had been here a month or not.
I probably not.
Because it was so hot out there.
Yeah.
God, it was so hot. And I got here in August.
Right. Yes.
So
yes.
it was, yeah.
Which the question that I had asked you, oh, man. I never even hit record. Ain't that something? The content creator didn't hit record, y'all, on his camera. It's all right, though. But when we first met, do you remember the question that I asked you? Because that's what this whole show was about.
Not exactly, but I don't know where you're going.
All right.
We talked a lot.
Yeah. Well, I had asked you, I said, so what's your story, man? And I told you about my podcast. This was when I first started the James Paul Show.
Yeah.
And then I had asked you about your story, and then that's when you began to tell me about your son.
Yeah.
And at that point, I had said, well, wow.
Right.
Tell me more about your story. And so for those of you who don't know what we're talking about today, we're talking about fentanyl awareness. Fentanyl has been a serious problem in a lot of our communities. And we see a lot of things are taking place legislative-wise.
Right.
And we also see local police departments doing things. If I'm correct, we were, I don't know exactly what's going on now, but I know about 2 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago, you and I, we were on the board where we worked on the Fentanyl Summit program here in Carrollton, Georgia.
Yes.
So in light of all of that, man, let's go back to the original question, which was your story. How did you get so involved in the whole thing with fentanyl?
I think you can really ask me, how did I get to Georgia? And I can really just go from there.
Let's go there.
That sounds like, how did I get here? I came from Arkansas.
Okay.
And I moved here as a transfer because I was already working for the company that owned the local paper here.
Okay.
And how I got here was I was looking for a way to get out of Arkansas. And the reason is because I had lost my son to a fentanyl poisoning 5 months before we met.
Wow. Was that soon?
It was that soon. It was 5 months.
Wow. Okay.
March 16th, 2021, my son was found hunched over in the bathroom. He had ingested something that had fentanyl in it, and he was not able to be revived. And fentanyl is a synthetic opioid drug that is 50 times more potent than heroin, 100 times more potent than morphine. And it's something that has become illicitly manufactured and distributed on the streets. And it's being laced in different drugs. It's been disguised as different drugs, and it is killing anywhere from 100 to 150 people per day. And it was a night, it was March 16th, 2021. You and I met in August of that same year.
Wow. Yeah.
And March 16th, 2021, and that is when I got the phone call. And it was about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was as much as my son, his name is Cody.
Cody. Okay.
And he said, Cody's gone.
Oh, that's the call that no parent wants.
Right. And so, and I said, where is that? I said, what happened? And they said, well, we think he got in some drugs or something.
Oh.
And I asked him where he was, and they told me where, and which it was that he was in an emergency room about 5 minutes from my house.
Okay.
So I got my stuff on. My wife wakes up and says, whatever. And all I could say was, Cody's dead. Cody's dead.
Now, at that time, when you got that call, you had no idea the relation, like what was the cause of death, right?
Not at that moment, no.
Okay. All right.
I had my suspicions. I mean, he had been an addict for a while and been in and out of the system.
Yeah.
And kind of, I knew it was drugs. I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
He had a problem for quite a few years. I mean, he had gotten hurt as a football player, and he was 29.
All right.
And he had gotten hurt in high school, and his addiction had been 10 years running because, pain pills and things like that.
So he
had broke his ankle on the football field.
So let's back up a little bit, because this part of the story, I don't think people fully understand the progression of how this starts, right? Because most people, right, when you think about fentanyl, you don't really understand how people are being introduced to it and what's leading up to that. It's not like people are going out and just buying fentanyl. No. Right. So can you educate those? Because there are a lot of people and parents too who are fully unaware of how this goes, because anybody could become addicted.
So this, I believe, was a fake pill. And so and the addiction is real. So the addiction is one story.
Talk to us about how the addiction started.
The addiction started in 2009. He's a junior in high school.
Yeah.
And he is on the football field. He gets his cleat hung in the turf, and it breaks his ankle. And so the pain pills that he didn't have to have surgery. It wasn't so bad that he had to go under the knife. But the pain pills began there.
Okay.
So most people know, doctors, hospitals, they don't necessarily prescribe pain pills all the way to the end of the pain.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he became addicted to the pills. And it pretty much spiraled him into that life.
So now let's back up for a sec, because I want to break this down a little bit, because in the process of working on the Fentanyl Summit, right? I was tasked to create the content of awareness, right? So I was interviewing a bunch of people. And the thing that I noticed that was a consistent thread throughout all the people that I've interviewed was that they were on pain meds. They eventually ran out. They had to stop. And the cost of getting more of these pills were just too much for the average person to come out of pocket with. And so what they would do is they would turn to a friend who might be able to get it a little bit cheaper, or whatever, the neighborhood plug who might have some extra pills or whatever. And what was happening was these folks that were making these pills didn't understand the proper dosage of fentanyl that's supposed to go into these pills. Now, I know the number, but I'd rather you teach them. And
so the whole thing is, it is 1 microgram is a deadly amount.
Yes.
So we're talking about if we had, and I don't think you have a sugar packet or a Splenda packet. Like a Splenda packet can kill an auditorium full of people, and we talked about that.
Yes, we actually did a video.
Yes, we did.
2 grains of salt. That's the lethal amount of fentanyl. This amount will kill 500 of us. 1 pill kills.
On that.
And it can kill 500 people. 5,000. I don't remember what my number was.
Yeah.
But we can go back to that. We can go back to that video there. But that can kill thousands of people. Just a Splenda packet full of them.
Right.
And that's all it takes.
Do y'all understand the magnitude of that, y'all? To have a Splenda packet, that's like, it's a little smaller than the sticky note.
Right.
This little sticky
Any
note.
little sugar packets you can get at a restaurant that you put in your coffee.
Yeah.
5,000 people.
5,000 people, y'all.
Yeah,
it's a crazy number.
It's a crazy.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, it's a crazy.
And here's the part that makes this whole thing really deadly is the fact that it takes 1 grain of salt over the limit and it's deadly.
Yeah, you're dead.
That's it. 1 grain of salt, y'all.
Right.
That is mind blowing to me.
Yeah, that's all it takes. And there are so many people. We're losing 300 people a day. We're kind of getting off track from the story, but we are losing around 300 people a day.
300 people a day, man. So
every day.
Okay, so let's continue on, man. You get the call. Your wife.
Yeah, we're sitting there. I said, Cody's dead. We get dressed,
right.
And I go into that emergency room, side room there, and he's laying there, and he's still warm.
Oh man.
And I just walk up beside him, and I look and I can barely say anything.
Yeah.
And, I walk out of there and just wait. Mm-hmm. And I stand there and I'm like, I'm not necessarily sure what I'm waiting on, but I do remember thinking some things there that, it's hard to stand there mm-hmm. and not, and start reflecting on, was this my fault? Was there something that I could have done to stop this?
Right.
That's the first thing you go through.
Yeah.
You start, I started replaying everything from the last, from the previous 10 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What could I have done? Is it all this? What really was it? Because I didn't really know until the toxicology report came back. Actually, the death certificate is what did it.
Okay.
And it was fentanyl toxicity was the official cause of death. And so I'm sitting there. I said, okay. When you're talking to yourself, and I said, you got 2 choices.
Right.
And I said, you can die right behind him, which was a viable option in my mind at that point in time.
Yeah.
Or you can fight.
And that's what led us to here.
Yes.
The fighting part.
Yes. And so I also know me. Right. I know there would be times when I didn't want to fight anymore, when I didn't have any motivation. There have been a lot of those days.
Yeah.
Am I actually doing any good?
Yeah.
Am I not just beating my head against the wall?
Right.
And is it making a difference?
And so I guess that's the thing. What exactly are we fighting for?
Well, what I decided to do in that moment was I decided to wait for them to wheel his body out of that hospital in the body bag. And that is always in my mind. And at this point, it doesn't matter the difference that I make. I remember that body bag. I remember them putting them in the back of that van.
Yeah.
In that bag.
Right. Right.
And it keeps me going. It pushes me forward.
Yeah, I would assume.
And the other thing that I did was I was the one that closed his casket after his funeral.
So I'm sure that's fueled something,
right? And so the click of the lid of that casket is something that a sound I'll never forget. And it's nothing that you'll ever hear.
Yeah,
that's the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's my motivation, and I try to keep those things. And I don't, I talk about it mm-hmm. to the point where that right there. See the reaction that I got from you.
Yeah, is
the reaction I get out there.
Yeah, man.
And it drives home the seriousness of
it. It does hit home, man. Like, when you were telling me that, I was reminded of a death in my family. This totally unrelated, but the empty feeling that I remember experiencing is what was triggered in my mind when you were telling me your story. You know what I mean? And so I remember then I was like, well, look, let's get your story out, man. Let's get it out there. You were working at the time for the newspaper, right?
Right.
And we did do some videos together. We're gonna run a couple of those clips on the video side of this podcast. No, but we had some good times. Yeah, so let's talk about some of the activities that you've taken, that you've participated in.
I was I've been very transparent. About this story and been very open about it. And I talked about it from day one. I mean, when people ask me what happened to him, I say it.
Yeah.
I knew. I mean, after we knew it was fentanyl. It was probably fentanyl.
And see, most people, if I may ask you a question about that real quick, parents, like, you're not the only one going through this, and there are some parents who've experienced the same scenario but are too ashamed
They don't want to talk about it. In fact, I can give you a woman right now who was
no names.
No, not here. Actually, not here.
All right.
So I know parents across the country. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's so there is one woman that I know that worked as a dispatcher.
Yeah.
For law enforcement for a county sheriff's department.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And she lost her son to fentanyl.
Wow.
And she lied because she was ashamed. And then finally, once everything came, now that's what I'm saying. The shame propelled her not to disclose. I mean, would give a different cause of death. To her coworkers, and because she didn't want it out there that she's working this job, but yet she has, you know what that's called?
What's that?
Stigma.
Yep.
And that kills as much as the drug does. James, we could do 2 or 3 episodes.
I know, man. I'm starting to see a part 2, 3, 4, 5 of this.
There's so many things that can happen in this. There's so many layers to this about why this has become such a problem.
So, yeah, you're right. Okay, well, let's talk about that. Why has it become such a problem?
So, one thing, everybody thinks that, well, they're just addicts. Yeah,
that is the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah.
Like when I was interviewing these people, these were professional, good-looking, clean folks, man.
College kids,
from
good families, from families that have money.
Yep.
That are prosperous.
Yeah.
I know somebody right here.
Yep.
Charge nurse. Charge nurse. Mm-hmm. People that have big houses.
Yeah.
We're not talking about people that are laying under an overpass with a needle hanging out their arm.
It blew my mind.
It's just not it.
Blew my mind
In fact, it's the furthest from the truth.
Yeah.
People are getting pills off the street. They're getting college kids getting Adderall. What they think is Adderall.
What they think, right?
What they think is Xanax. What they think are things that people use on a normal, regular basis. They can't tell the difference, and they're fentanyl pills, and they're dying.
Yeah,
and there's liquid fentanyl out there now.
Liquid.
There was a girl in North Carolina that got a bottle of water from a friend that she came by to visit. She took a drink of that bottle of water and died just before.
Come on, man.
I'm not lying.
Come on. Now, see,
I'm not playing.
It just this is where I'm going with this here for a second. Just quick sidebar. It's one thing to start messing with pills, right? And all this other stuff. Then you hear people lacing marijuana with it. Vapes. And now you're telling me water. What the hell? It's like
water. Now here's something else too. There was a story in New York a couple of years ago. In fact, it was right before we did our little Carrollton High School
the event.
Talk.
Yeah. I want to talk about that.
Right before that.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a daycare that got a packages delivered to them, and some of the babies had gotten. You know how babies are. They go like that and they crawl up there and they get like that and they start messing around.
Yep.
There was fentanyl residue on some of those packages.
Oh man!
3 of them went to the hospital. 1 of them died.
Is this the story in New York?
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes,
I remember that.
There are people in Airbnbs that are losing babies that when they're crawling in like how
I read that article too,
where they're opening cabinets and touching the inside of cabinets with residue. Cops going into houses, not even looking,
gloves.
Not even looking for drugs. Nor you got to wear special gloves now because fentanyl will get in through the skin, through a normal.
It penetrates all. Yes. Yeah. It's bad. It's really bad, and it's an epidemic now. You have made some movements in terms of like talking and educating people, the students in schools. Carrollton High School was one of them. I remember attending to that one.
Yeah, and talking to some guy. Remember what we did, right? We took some it was around Halloween time, so I grabbed a bunch of Skittles, right?
Yeah,
so there was little individual Skittles. So twofold, right?
Yep.
So you go in there and one thing you get kids to listen to, you give them something to eat.
Right.
I give them a snack. I give them, everybody loves Skittles.
That was a perfect setup. I remember that.
So I started throwing the Skittles out there, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have enough for everybody. I said, okay, look, guys, you just have to share or whatever.
They're all just running for it.
Going after, just just right there.
That's right.
And so I waited. Like we get about 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
And I said, what if one of those Skittles that you guys ate was fentanyl?
Y'all have seen these, right? Everybody seen these? This much fentanyl right here can kill every person in this room. Every person in this room. And you don't have to even put it in you. All you have to do is touch it. Carrollton Police Department in Carroll County, they have to wear special gloves in case they come across it. Because a lot of times when they go into a house and they search and they do things and they touch, they're not even looking for this, but it's there. And if they touch it and it gets in their skin, they go to the hospital and they can die. West Memphis, Arkansas, a state trooper goes into a house searching, and he runs across, he doesn't even know he's running across it. It's residue. He was in a coma for 3 days.
And all mouths stopped chewing. That was so hilarious.
The reaction was audible.
Yeah.
You could hear one of them say, man, he set us up.
Yep.
You know, the reaction was audible.
Yeah.
But that's so true because they were doing, the rainbow fentanyl was a big thing back then. Whitesburg, Georgia, which is just
not
right
too
down
far from here. Yep.
The former chief of police showed me a photo of a stop that he made of a guy he knew. Wow. That had a clump of rainbow fentanyl in his console.
A clump.
A clump. It wasn't even pills. It was like a clump in a baggie.
A clump of what?
Fentanyl. Pure fentanyl. Powder.
Oh, powder.
Pure powder fentanyl. And it was just, he said, you just never know.
You know, speaking of the police, shouts out to Joel, Chief Joel Richards.
Right.
Because he jumped on it right away. Let me tell you, I can't speak for the other towns in the other states and all that other stuff, but I know the Carrollton Police Department, you know.
There are neighboring counties that are following suit.
Yeah. These guys were on it, man.
He came to me not long after we met. I mean, it was after, because as I said, I've been very vocal, very transparent about my story.
Right.
And I'd written a couple of columns in the newspaper, and and he and I talked a lot about this story.
Yeah.
And he asked me to be on the ground floor of the Fentanyl Awareness Coalition, which is still going on here.
Correct.
Now.
Correct.
And we've had 3 summits.
Yeah.
And it's been very wildly successful.
Yeah, very successful. And we've participated in all 3.
Yeah, yes, I have.
My experience as a probate court judge and now as the mayor, I have firsthand knowledge of how drugs affect our community and how they affect families, and they are killing our children, and we have to step up. And I think as a community we've made great strides in doing that.
I think it's becoming more mainstream. The growing up, what druggies look like are not what the fentanyl person necessarily looks like. It's now in our families, it's with our friends, it's with our neighbors. Carroll County is now part of this fentanyl coalition. Ashley Halsey, the communications director for Carroll County, and Major Craig Dodson are part of this coalition to help bring in what is happening in the county and learning from our cities what we can do to better solve this problem. We've worked very hard on funding the Sheriff's Department, so that he has the abilities to get the resources to help his employees and deputies that have to deal with this on a daily basis, as well as the citizens that are having to call for help.
I'm a state certified drug recognition expert, and I currently serve on our aggressive criminal enforcement unit. During the early stages of my career, we had a significant problem with the amount of methamphetamine and prescription painkiller use here in Carroll County. Since that time, we've seen a drastic rise in the amount of fentanyl that is starting to pop up on our streets. A lethal dose of fentanyl is only 2 milligrams. For a visual reference, a lethal dose of fentanyl is like just a few grains of salt. Fentanyl is currently being put into all kinds of different street drugs such as methamphetamine, heroin, prescription pain pills such as oxycodone and hydrocodone. You don't want to be taking street drugs, but even when it comes down to prescription pills, only take things that are prescribed to you directly from a doctor. These pills on the streets today are killing people.
It's not just the person that you, in our stigma, that you think is the druggie that's laying on the park bench with a needle in his arm or her arm. It's not that. It's it's college students who go to college and buy an Adderall pill thinking that it's going to help them study for a test because they took a prescription in high school, and only to find out that it's been laced with fentanyl, and they're dead. And the parents are saying, what is fentanyl? I know one mother said it best when she said, if we were losing 100 people a day to plane crashes, we'd do something about it. And we are to fentanyl, over 100 a day. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's well over 100 a day that we're losing to opioid overdose. And so we just decided to come together and start the Fentanyl Summit, starting the conversation, and now, of course, we're doing the Fentanyl Awareness Campaign to keep the ball rolling and make people aware of this is still continuing in our community, and we have to do something about it.
Despite all the hatred, we're going to call it, I don't mind, I don't care about this stuff, man. I say it anyway.
Right.
Despite the Trump syndrome thing that these folks got going on, let's talk about the HALT Fentanyl Act. That just passed not too long ago.
Yeah, it passed this week, in fact.
This week.
He signed it this week. And this is a piece of legislation that brings fentanyl into the Schedule 1 of drugs.
Yes.
Which brings in a lot easier way to prosecute.
Yep.
It brings in minimum sentences.
Yeah.
And it makes it, we're talking about fentanyl in sentences with heroin, ecstasy, and all those others.
Yeah.
And marijuana to a degree, which it's kind of about time. It took a long time to get this done. But I want to say something about the role of politics in things like this. So
Okay.
I'm not political about this.
Right.
Never.
Right.
I've always said, now you
Same here. Although I like Trump, we're not making this a political thing.
you need to, and there are a lot of them that do.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have marched on the White House.
Okay.
I've done it twice.
Gotcha.
I'll do it again in October.
All right.
Doesn't matter who's in office. The times that we did it, Biden was in office.
Talk to us about that too, so people,
Right.
Because I know there are other parents that want to
Right.
get involved.
The Lost Voices of Fentanyl will march on DC in October.
All right,
And
October, y'all.
Yeah, and they've done it every single year for the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
So the whole thing with this is that while there is a political element to it,
Yeah.
there's an interview out there that I did for Real America's Voice. I think that was at one of the last summit I was at.
Okay.
And I said that, is it about harm reduction? A little. Is it about, and it's about recovery. It's about harm reduction. It's about politics. It's about the law. It's about law enforcement. It's about everything. It's about education.
Okay.
The only thing that we want as parents, in my mind, is that we want to be heard.
Yeah.
And when we go to Washington and we stand in front of a congressional hearing,
Right.
we want to be heard.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's the only thing that's in our power.
Yeah.
Is for us to be heard. That's why I'm here. Is I want to be heard.
That's right.
I want to tell the story because I don't want others to go through what
Yeah.
I've gone through.
Yeah.
People don't understand me, and I don't want them to understand me. But more and more people are starting to understand me because they're following behind me.
Yeah.
They're losing their children. They're losing their brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
They're losing their parents. The average age in Georgia is 39 years old.
So the HALT Fentanyl Act, right? We know, for one, it's turned into a Schedule 1
Right.
Drug. The second thing that we know also is that you now, in terms of prescription, right? In the state, I'm assuming.
So part of
you can't prescribe it. Like, yes, they use fentanyl. We do understand they use it in the hospitals, but in terms of prescription, which is what's leading folks into the
Right. So the prescription of fentanyl is really has been kind of low anyway, but
Right.
this keeps it into a point to where there's really not, and that's what makes it different.
Yeah.
Fentanyl is actually used medically, unlike heroin, unlike ecstasy, unlike
marijuana.
Yeah, I mean, even then.
But even then, like, that really needs to get removed. Right. I don't know why they're both BSing about that.
So that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show. But you get what I mean,
Yeah, I hear
right?
you,
Like, come
I hear
on,
you, I
man.
hear
Big guy, I'm listening to you.
So the whole thing with this is, and my point is, it's part of the whole Fentanyl Act also is the minimum sentences.
Yes.
And I think
Was
there
it 10?
needs to, yes, 10 years. 10 years. So I think there needed to be a minimum sentence long ago, because
Yeah.
beforehand, all they were doing when somebody died was just, they were addict. If you know who the dealer is, we'll just charge them with dealing drugs, and that's it.